months ago, I made a video explaining how I came out as atheist to my Christian parents. It was kinda a hot mess. Looking back on the whole experience, I definitely feel like I could have handled it better. And because no one out there is checking for my opinion, I thought I would share what I wish I had done differently and also provide some tips in case anyone out there is thinking about how they're going to come out as atheists to their friends or family. But keep in mind, I'm just a broad who has internet connection, not a professional tip giver. Think for yourself and figure out what's best for your own situation. We'll see how this goes though. Bear with me, please. Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Omo humbled to have you watching. If you're new here, I make videos about my experiences being a non-believer, particularly a Black/Nigerian non-believer, and my thoughts on a variety of topics related to non-belief. My very lofty goal is to get a video up every couple of weeks. If I'm ever able to get my life together, of course. If you're interested in tagging along, don't forget to subscribe before you head out. In the comments below, let me know what you think about the tips that I'm about to share, and if there's anything that you wish you had done differently on your coming out journey. I would love to hear from you. Okay, thanks. So like I said, upon reflecting on how I eventually ended up coming out as atheist to my parents, I decided there were some parts that I wish I would have handled differently. I'll share those regrets first, and then I'll share some tips based off of my experience and from a book that I read called What If I'm an Atheist by David Seidman. It's a book that I had read a while back as I was trying to figure out how to tell my own story, and I would definitely recommend it for very young or new atheists. All right, so the first thing I would have done differently is telling my parents much sooner instead of hiding it for years. I deconverted from Christianity in 2011 or 2012-ish, but I didn't end up telling my parents until just last year, 2020. I lived with them for 1 year after coming home from college. That was 2014 to 15, faking it the whole time I was there. And then I moved out and became fully independent at the end of 2015. I wish I had told them right then at the end of 2015. And the main reason that I wish they had known earlier is because they would have had more time to get used to the idea before meeting my now boyfriend. They found out that I was an atheist, and then within a few months, they also found out that I was dating a non-believer. So it kind of made it seem like I became an atheist for the D. As if my decision to become an atheist wasn't 100% my own, you know? Which irritates me to my core. Maybe if they had had more time to know and understand atheist me individually, they'd be less likely now to think it's a phase. Maybe, I don't know. There's also just regret for lost time. Time that I could have spent being honest and living authentically that is gone now. The second thing I wish I had done differently is taking control over when and where we had the conversation instead of having it sprung on me. My parents found out about my non-belief because a family member had showed them this YouTube channel. And from there, I just did not care to initiate any type of conversation to get everything out in the open, you know? I was actively avoiding having any type of conversation about my atheism with my parents. That continued until they basically cornered me at their house and forced a conversation on me. I wish I had planned that out a little better. I would have liked to gather my thoughts beforehand and maybe pick a neutral location and have someone involved in the conversation who was somewhat understanding of my situation. I also think that because I was ducking and dodging the conversation so much that it might have sent the message to my parents that I wasn't that serious about it. Imagine me whenever they tried to bring it up acting like, what? No. They didn't think I was serious about it, which gave them unnecessary hope that they could still talk some sense into me and save me from damnation. I just wish that I had set a more serious tone and that I had come to them, letting them know that I wanted to talk to them about something that was very important to me. The third thing I wish I had done differently, like I said, is having some talking points prepared so that I wasn't just reacting to a conversation that I was being forced into, and I might not have gotten so distracted or off topic. My mom began the conversation by trying to explain to me the occultic origins of agnosticism. We went on a couple of weird tangents during the conversation that were completely unnecessary and honestly incredibly draining. I wish I could have focused my mental and emotional energy on a few key points and then given them some time to process those key points. Key points like definitions, my personal timeline, and a summary of what I believe right now. Boom, boom, boom. Present my case clearly and then allow them to ask some questions instead of starting off in such a defensive mindset. Starting off in such a defensive mindset made it so much harder for me to present my thoughts coherently and calmly. And as a result, even after this conversation, they were confused about what I believed and they were confused about the labels, which led to issues later on. Had I been able to stay focused and hit all my key points effectively, I don't think there would have been as much confusion, which would have made the follow-up conversation a little less rough. You can find the full details of that conversation in my coming out video. And lastly, the fourth thing that I wish I had done differently is setting some terms for moving forward instead of leaving things so unresolved. A while after I made my coming out video, I got a phone call from one of my parents basically telling me that there's a special place in hell for people who knew God and then became atheists, and so please repent and stop this nonsense. Okay, I don't need that. I wish I had set some clear boundaries about our relationship moving forward, including something like, if you ever feel the urge to call just to tell me that I'm going to hell, don't do it. I would have liked to outline for them in the very beginning which conversations I am open to having and what things are not open for discussion, and also explain to them what my response would be to threats of hell moving forward, and have them agree to it. We need boundaries, which is especially difficult for Nigerian parents to understand. But I'm getting older and eventually I will have my own family. I need for them to understand where the line is so they don't cross it with me or with anyone else in my life. I wish I had made that abundantly clearer during that first conversation so I wouldn't have had to deal with all those tense follow-up conversations. Those were also incredibly emotionally draining. All right, so those are the few things that I wish I had done differently when I came out. In case any of you out there are thinking about how you're gonna come out as atheist to your friends or family, here are 7 tips from my personal experience and from the book that I mentioned earlier that should help you out. Tip 1, prep your story. It was very helpful for me to actually write out my deconversion story for my own understanding and reflection. And like I said, I wish I had prepared something similar to use, specifically in conversation with my parents, so that I didn't miss anything important. But beyond that, I think it's just easier to explain to other people how you became an atheist if you start by explaining it to yourself first. And I know not everyone is a writer, and so you could even just try talking out loud to yourself to hear how all the words sound together. Tip 2, gather some facts. This is a suggestion from the book that I only minorly agree with. Personally, the only fact that I think you need is the fact that no religion has been able to demonstrate its truthfulness or provide evidence. I don't believe that you need to be a religious scholar before you can declare yourself an atheist, but I do understand how it can be helpful in these types of conversations to have some facts and counter arguments prepared. So for me, it ended up coming back around to hell. Am I scared of hell? No. Why? Well, let's talk about the evolution of Satan and hell throughout history, shall we? You want them to know that yes, you have thought about this thoroughly, and it's not just an emotional response or a desire to continue living in sin. Tip 3, pick an appropriate time and place. The book suggests picking a place outside of the home or a public place where they can't make a big scene, but you may prefer privacy. It also suggests maybe having a conversation during a long car ride or walking through a park. And you know them the best, so pick a location where you think that both parties would feel the most comfortable. Timing wise, the book recommends picking a time where you won't feel super rushed. You probably want to steer clear of times when people are feeling really sleepy or times when emotions are already high. And my personal recommendation is that you make sure you set the time and place instead of having it sprung on you like it was for me. Tip 4, stay respectful and manage emotions. Your friends or family could experience a wide range of emotions when you come out about your beliefs. And unfortunately, it might fall on you to maintain the peace. I don't think it does any good to devolve into shouting, name-calling, threats, or even using sarcasm when you're trying to have this conversation. It might just make it harder for them to receive your message if any of that ends up happening. And also, if you're like me, you value relationships. I'm not coming out in order to destroy my relationships. I'm trying to keep them alive and healthy. If you want to continue having the people that you're telling in your life, it doesn't hurt to lead by example and demonstrate the positive dynamics that you want to maintain or establish now that you've come out. However, this in no way, shape, or form means that you should just take any kind of abuse from them. Definitely set boundaries, and if they refuse to respect you, you can walk away from the conversation until things calm down. Always take care of your own mental and emotional health, which is what I'm working on as well. Tip 5, find an ally. I would have liked to have someone by my side that fully accepted me as me during my coming out conversation. Maybe you can try to find an ally to support you, like a close friend or family member who you tell first, who is also willing to stand by your decision respectfully. I did not have anyone like that, and I know many people are in the same boat. So if you can't find someone in person to support you, your next best option would be to find allies virtually. People that you can talk to for ongoing encouragement encouragement and emotional support. It's always just nice to talk to people who understand what you're going through. Tip 6, choose your words carefully. The book recommends using the A word very carefully. Some highly religious folks are just so opposed to the word atheism instead of what it actually represents. Again, you know your audience and you know your beliefs. If you think the word atheist may shut down the conversation completely, then maybe use something else to start. Instead of going into it like, "Hello family, I'm an atheist," you could instead say something like, "My worldview has changed recently and I'd love to tell you about it if you're open to listening." For me though, not using the word atheist actually made things worse later on. So do whatever you gotta do there, but I would recommend being very clear about your beliefs and your labels, unlike I was. And tip 7, allow them to process and feel. Allow your friends and family to have their feelings. Again, don't take abuse just to keep the peace, but be mindful that they are humans too. And they may definitely need time and space to process what has just happened. They may feel devastated, scared for you, angry, guilty, depressed, anxious. It may help to just let them express how they're feeling without judgment. Allow them time to process, but also let them know what your boundaries are moving forward. Anyways, like I said, my coming out as atheist wasn't really that well planned, and I didn't follow most of the recommendations the book listed, so there's that. Coming out as an atheist is a very tough choice. I cannot make that decision easier for anyone out there. The least that I can do is to share my story and experiences and hope that they provide comfort to someone out there. I got out of religion, I'm thriving, and I feel free now. And I hope that you're able to find some kind of peace if and when you do come out. So tell me, what do you think about the things that I wish I had done differently? What do you wish you had done differently when you came out to your friends and family as atheists? Do you have any tips to share? If you haven't come out yet, are you doing anything to prepare for your coming out? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Share this video with a closeted atheist. As usual, people, don't forget to like and subscribe and turn on your notifications so you get an alert when I post my next video. Thank you for watching. I will see you next time. Bye!